slide comes from a presentation that was done by our Romy and I colleagues, and it shows that there are basically two categories of indicators. So we have the core indicators, which include among them the corporate indicators. Corporate, we mean EURF indicators, GERF indicators, or EPA. The advantage of these indicators is that they are pre-encoded in OPSIS, allow for harmonization, for aggregation. They are suggested by the system. They can be searched. The list evolves over time. We will see this. And of course, use is not mandatory, but highly recommended. And then there's a second macro category of indicators, which is that of customized indicators. These are indicators that you will basically draft to meet the needs of your intervention. So if you have a result which cannot be measured through existing core indicators, then you draft a customized indicator. Free text indicators created by the user. They cannot be aggregated and used for reporting at corporate level. They can and should be, of course, used to report at intervention level. But they could also be used for corporate reporting if they are matched to a corporate indicator. Okay, linking and matching customized and corporate indicators. We saw before that, and also in the first exercise on responsiveness, we saw that we should use corporate indicators if they are relevant, if they respond, if they allow to measure the results we are seeking to inform. If we don't use a corporate indicator, can we establish a match with a corporate indicator? Sometimes yes, and sometimes no. And we will have a few examples on how this can be done and so on. But the important thing is for you to note down now is that matching doesn't imply adding a new indicator to the log frame. Again, these are instructions which come from our Romy and I colleagues. When matching, you have to verify the correspondence between customized and corporate indicators. In other words, look at the methodological note to see if indeed the match can happen or not. And this is what we're saying here. And then that the value has to be reported twice. Once for the customized indicator, so for your tailor-made indicator, and once for the corporate indicator. And it's important to remember that sometimes the value you report will be identical for the two, but sometimes it will be different. So sometimes unit of measurement differ. Additional calculations might need to be performed to report the right indicator value for your corporate indicator, i.e. for your GERF indicator. Okay, the other thing is that the matching in OPSIS can be done only when the log frame has been approved. And then you will find a button that says add matching indicator, and then you will be provided with a menu from which you select the actual indicator you want to match. Let's look now at some examples of customized indicators and matches. So the original formulation of GERF indicator, which we took for the purpose of this short exercise, is indicator 228. Number of grassroots civil society organizations benefiting from or reached by EU support. And then we have a first customized indicator. Why customized? Because our intervention logic is focusing on social protection issues. And we have three potential customized indicators. The first one is number of grassroots civil society organizations benefiting from or reached by EU support who work on social protection issues. So essentially the identical formulation to the GERF indicator with the part in orange added, so with a specification to sort of, restrict it a bit. And this is a way in which the staff working document suggests that you customize indicators, of course, if relevant. The second possibility is number of grassroots civil society organizations providing social protection services benefiting from or reached by EU support. What's the difference between customized indicator 1 and customized indicator 2? To me, the difference is that it reads better, but at the same time, while this is technically possible in OPSIS, the staff working document recommends that you stick to the first type of specification. So have, let's say, the GERF indicator at the start and then add the specification at the end rather than in the middle. And then the third customized indicator is number of civil society organizations benefiting from or reached by EU support who work on social protection issues. And there's a difference here. So, or actually two differences. One, we deleted grassroots because we're not just working with grassroots civil society organizations, but with civil society organizations at grassroots level, but also bigger civil society organizations, maybe also with international civil society organizations. We still focus on social protection. In this case, the indicator is slightly different from the GERF indicator. So it's a customized indicator, it's a tailor-made indicator, but it can still be matched to the GERF indicator. It should be matched, it can be matched, but when we report on values, we will have two different values, one for our own indicator and one for the GERF indicator. And the reason for this is that for the GERF indicator, we just have to report the number of grassroots civil society organizations, whereas in our customized indicator, we will report on a broader group of civil society organizations, which includes the subcategory of grassroots civil society organizations, but not the full set of civil society organizations. Okay, so that was our first example. And now let's look at the second example. And again, we're focusing on customized indicators and potential matches. In this case, we chose the GERF indicator 214B. So number of people who have benefited from institution or workplace vet skills development interventions supported by the EU. B, only vet skills development for digitalizations. We have two customized indicators, two potential customized indicators. The first one is number of people who have benefited from institution or workplace vet skills development for digitalization interventions supported by the EU. What is the difference? Basically, that we included the word digitalization. We brought it in the middle of the indicator rather than at the end. So it's a slightly different way of phrasing the indicator. It can still be matched, of course, it should be matched, but because it's essentially the same, the recommendation is to use the original formulation as per staff working document instructions. The second customized indicator is instead reads number of people who have benefited from institution or workplace vet skills development interventions supported by the EU, only vet skills development for digitalization. So basically the exact same formulation of our GERF indicator with a specification at the end that says finding employment in tech sector or digital startup enterprises within 12 months of end of vet skills. In this case, we can't make the match, or we should not make the match, because in principle, you can still make the match, but it's a wrong match. What we are measuring with the second indicator is the number of people who benefited from vet, but also found employment. So we're measuring the number of people finding employment. So we're measuring two different things. In the first case, just we're measuring the number of people who benefited from vet or skills development. In the second case, we're measuring those who, after having participated or benefited from vet skills development, find employment. So we're measuring two different things, and if we are measuring two different things, the match should not be made.